So, good morning, everyone. As I said, I will upload the videos of the JAIIB lectures chapter-wise, one by one. So, I'm doing this. So, this is the first chapter of the legal and the regulatory aspects of the banking, chapter 1. And if you did not see my first video, then you can see that and you will get to know why I am doing this and what is the purpose of this lectures. So let me start. First of all, I would like to say you that kindly see the videos with a speed of 1.5 and 1.75 and according to your speed by setting in the YouTube. And the purpose I already have mentioned, but the thing is that this all lectures and the all notes are according to the examination point of view, what they are asking, what kind of questions could come. We can only predict, we are not of sure that what will come, but if we believe in the process, we will surely get through with very good marks in the certification of JAIIB and CAIIB. So in this JAIIB, the first chapter of the legal, I'm going to explain. So first chapter, first introduction about what is banking and how the bank runs. As you all know, the banking is all about the taking the surplus amount from the person and give that amount with the margin that banks gain and to the needy person. And the one question that will arise, that bank is running, who all are responsible for that run? So the main responsibility of running the bank is based on the act. In India, whatever it goes, whatever happens, it all runs according to the act or some law. So bank is also governed by Banking Regulation Act, Reserve Bank of India Act, and by the central government. So the role of the central government is to enact these acts to apply for the better running of these organizations for the nation's goodwill. And in all these acts, there is a provisions of sections which define the particular kinds of things that is under the banking system. So the second topic is, I introduced the topic. The second thing is that business of the banking. Here in the business of the banking, here you will, first thing that comes in the mind is the definition of the banking. The definition of the banking is mentioned in the Banking Regulation Act itself, and you do not need to learn the base definitions of the banking, but you should have command of some of the sections which is important for the banking, which are regularly asked in the JAIIB certification exams. Some of the sections which is important in the Banking Regulation Act, you must at least see and make a notes of these sections, not holistically, but the gist, what this all section is all about. The sections are 5B, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 19 to 22, 29, 36, AA, 44A, 45Z, 56 and 49. The questions on the sections are asked regularly, and so you must know what all these sections has in gist, not holistically, so that you could answer by seeing the options that they are providing. So The definitions are covered here. The one questions could be arise in this topic, that what is the role of the KYC? As you are already working in the bank, you must have taken KYC one way or to the other from the person. So what is the purpose of taking the KYC? These questions can be asked, that KYC is mainly for the preventing the for the prevention of the anti-laundering things, and to know that who all are having their account, what is their identity in the, if something could be needed by the bank or the national agency, this could be provided. So this is the purpose of the KYC, so that there would not be any informal money that is being kept in the unknown accounts, or for the preventions of the money laundering activities. So in the business of the banking, the second point is withdrawal by check. As you have known that we can withdraw money through various methods, but why check is important, as check is mentioned in the Negotiable Instrument Act. So this question could be asked, that where the check is being mentioned. So it is a Negotiable Instrument Act where the check has been mentioned, and it is a negotiable instrument. The third point is NBFCs, just like banks, with some of the more regulations. Why that is a Bank of India. Why, if there is a bank, why there is a need of non-banking financial companies? Here the non-banking financial companies are run by the Companies Act, and this does not have to comply with all the provisions that is required to open the bank. So it is easy to open, and the public are more intimate to this non-banking financial companies. And there is also one more purpose, that why NBFC is active is because it promotes the financial inclusion. The fourth point is licensing. The licensing for any running of the bank, we need a license. Even for opening of the branch, we need a license. So the questions can be framed here, that in which section of the Banking Regulation Act this licensing provision is there. So it's section 22. So the licensing provisions is there in the section 22. Don't worry, I will scan all these notes and upload in the Facebook group. The same name, the name of the Facebook group is the Banking Inside Out for the JAIIB and the CAIIB. I will upload all these notes there, so that it could be easy to refer the videos and see the notes at the same time. And in the topic business of the banking, the fifth point is permitted businesses. As you all know, the para banking activities are also running while doing the main core activities of the bank. The para activities include like insurance, the mutual fund businesses, etc. So these all are permitted under some section. This question could be asked, which section? So this section is section 6(1) of the Banking Regulation Act, prohibition of the businesses. What all activities are prohibited in the businesses? And in which it could be asked that which of the following activities are prohibited. They will give the 3 options which are permitted and 1 option which are not permitted. So according to the section 8 of the Banking Regulation Act, there is a prohibition of the businesses like trading activities, selling and buying of goods, etc. These are prohibited. And there is also, the bank cannot keep the assets more than 7 years. 7 years, and if they are permitted to keep for more 5 years, they have to take the permission for the Reserve Bank of India. So what is the meaning of this asset? This asset are those assets which comes to the bank from the SARFAESI Act. Let's say someone has taken the loan and they are not able to repay, so that asset which are being mortgaged or taken by the bank as a collateral security, these assets can be kept by the bank up to 7 years. After that they will sell it. So the third point is constitution, how the bank are constituted. As we know that the banking in India are of, say, the three kinds. The one is statutory, like the State Bank of India. It is being made or formed by the statutory law that is being passed by the parliament. And the second one is according to the opened by the Companies Act of 1956 or 2013. The companies which are opened for doing the banking purposes are come under this section. And third is the cooperative society. The cooperative society are of two kinds. These questions could be asked, that in cooperative societies are run by you, the answer is the state government and the RBI. And if the cooperative society is only in the one state, it is being run by the state act. And if the cooperative society is multi-state cooperative society, then it will be ruled by the central act. This you have to keep in mind. One more important questions of the nationalization could be asked, that when the banks are nationalized, that is one, and by which act they are being nationalized. So these answers are 1970 and 1980 the banks are nationalized, and it is done by the Acquisition and Transfer of the Undertaking Act. These are the act which makes the nationalization of the banks. So, and there are some more years which could be asked, that when the SBI Statutory Act was passed, it is 1955, and Regional Rural Bank Act in 1976. The fourth topic is RBI Act. In the RBI Act, you need to look and remember and kindly make the notes of these sections in short, so that you could able to remember at the time of examination the section 3, 7, 20, 21, 31, 40, 42 and 45 as these sections are important in the Reserve Bank of India Act. And what is the purpose of making the Reserve Bank of India? The whole purpose, capital management and the management overall. These all things, there is need to control and regulate the banking system, as it's a very fragile for the Indian economy as well as for the people. So RBI plays a very active role in these. For example, for RBI has its say in incorporation. For example, they give the license to the bank and opening of the branches, so they can regulate through by confirming the license or not. And second, the capital, the monetary control or the monetary policy and the issue of the notes, lender of last resort comes under the capital management, by managing the banks overall or their requirement. And the management includes the report gathering, the non-banking financial companies, the punishments, etc. Now the fifth topic is Banking Regulation Act. As I already mentioned, that what all sections you need if the questions asked from these topics is, you have to remember that sections. the Banking Regulation Act is all about the management and the administration of the banking, and it includes the management, includes the supervisions, the winding up, etc. as the management. And it also has one point, that DEF. What is DEF? The Depository Education Awareness Fund. So let's say if someone has kept their money in the bank, and if someone die and there is no nominee of that, so where all these money will go? It will go to the DEF. This question, the full form could be asked, or it will ask after how many years the amount could be go to the DEF. So it's 10 years. So the sixth topic of this chapter is Reserve Bank of India as a central banker and the regulator. The work of the Reserve Bank of India is to supervise, to regulate, to inspect the bank. And how the RBI do this? What is the tool? The RBI Act is the tool. And the RBI has many functions as a central banker, like it manages the currency, right from the issue of or keeping reserves, or the managing the credit system is under the RBI. And RBI do this under the supervisions of the central government. RBI has a governor and 4 deputy governors plus some directors. Again, the sections are important in this, like section 22. It gives the RBI the power to issue currency from 2 to 10,000. So where is the rupee 1? The rupee 1 is sanctioned by the finance secretary. If you see the note of the rupee 1, there is a sign of finance secretary in that, but 2 and onwards you will see the sign of the governor in that. Section 20 and 21A, banks to the central government and the state government. Section 20 and 21A is also important. These all the sections I already have mentioned, that to make a notes. If you are not unable to make notes, then kindly comment in the sections. I will make a separate video of that section, but these sections are very important. They are scoring. In this chapter, what all could be asked is only the sections. The sections is very important. Might be the 2 questions from the sections could come. So sections are important. Kindly make the notes of this 10-10. The marks could be yours. The supervisions and the inspection is the central government role. The licensing, the appointment, Reserve Bank of appointment of the board of directors, auditing are some of the functions of the RBI as a central banker. Now the 7th topic of this chapter, government as a regulator. So what is the role of the central government in all the banking system? I will say the central government, the RBI is the boss of the bankers, the banks, and the central government is the boss of the RBI. Whatever the direction of the central government, the RBI has a Banking Regulation Act which directs that the central government could direct or supersede the RBI in some of the cases. Even in the recent issue that being aired in the newspaper, that central government is trying to compromise the supervising positions of the RBI, but it's already been mentioned in the section 8 that central government could do that. Under which section give the power to the central government to overrule the decisions of the RBI, or to overshadow the decisions of the RBI and give their veto to apply something or do something, is under section 7.1. But there is a condition. On what condition? This question could be asked. On what conditions that RBI, that central government can do so? Only in the case that it's detrimental to the interest of the depositors, there they can do that, or in the interest of the public they can do that only. the role of the central government is to appoint the governor, and all appeals to the RBI that if someone is disagree with the Reserve Bank of India's decisions, to whom they can consult. It could be consult either to the court or the central government. So it's also mentioned the sections that they can go either to the court or the central government. If they go to the central government, it is section 36AA, where they can go to the central government, and in some of the cases the board of the bank could also be superseded under the direction of the central government. Some exemptions of the Banking Regulation Act. So which sections gives the exemptions of the Banking Regulation Act is section 53, which gives some exemption, like some bank is unable to fulfill the PCA norms, PCA's preventive corrective actions norms, then central government can give them the exemptions. Under which section this question could be asked. So under 6(1) of the Banking Regulation Act, there is a power given to the bank to exercise other functions other than the banking. It's mentioned in the section 6(1)(a). So there are also some sections which is important I would like to mention. Sections are already mentioned. I have already mentioned the sections, which all sections you need to go through. So I will say, just write it. Some more sections which is important. First, the formation of the subsidiary. The central government with their power can give the banks to form a subsidiary under section 19 of the Banking Regulation Act. Again, the accounts and the balance sheet under section 29. The third, inspection of the bank under section 35. These all are the powers of the central government, as we are taking the topic of the government as a regulator. So section 35, the inspection of the bank. The undertaking under 36A. Let's say if government wants the ICICI to be nationalized, then which section could be applied? Section 36AE is applied, and it could be converted into the government undertaking bank. The business and the amalgamations. This under section 45, the central government has the power to amalgamate 3 banks. Here recently the 3 banks got amalgamated, so this section is applied, the section 45, where the Dena Bank, Bank of Baroda and the Vijaya Bank are amalgamated into one. These are the power of the central government. Only central government could do so, and central government is doing. Here in this topic, one very important where the question could be asked is FIUIND. What is that? The full form is Financial Intelligence Unit, India. It is enacted. The date could be asked, so please write it. 18th November 2004. What is the purpose of this FIU? The purpose of this is to suspect financial transaction to nature. As you might be knowing that the government and some of you are working at the back office, that the bank has to send in some of the format the monthly transactions which crossed the 10 lakh rupees amount, or overall, or 1 lakh in one go. They have to send these reports to the RBI so that they can be regulated or supervised. One question here could also be asked, that Financial Intelligence Unit are under whose supervisions or control. So Financial Intelligence Unit is reporting directly to the Economic Intelligence Council. This Economic Intelligence Council question could be asked, that FIU is reporting to whom. And one more question, that Economic Intelligence Council, EIC, is headed by which is headed by whom? The answer is Finance Minister. That Financial Intelligence Unit is headed by Finance Minister. Next topic is control over cooperative banks. As I already mentioned what cooperative banks are, why it is different from the regular banks. As you know that in India there is a Cooperative Society Act. In Cooperative Society Act there is a group of people where they come together and they share the profits or the losses that they bear. They shares all these things, whatever they have. For example, the Amul is the example of the cooperative society. In the cooperative society, only the members could take part in it. So the cooperative, in previously it is being regulated only by the Cooperative Act, but now